proud members of the Dread Central Podcast Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
Kim and Kat, Stay Alive, Maybe.
We're a horror movie comedy podcast.
We tell you the entirety of a movie, spoilers and all. Spoiled you. Boop, boop.
Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Is that like a new zing?
Rare.
Oh,
I don't know.
Sassy. No, I like the idea that instead of saying zing, you're just going to go boop,
Boop,
boop.
boop.
Anyway, we're a horror movie comedy podcast, as Kim or I said, and we're going to spoil the whole movie. And today I'm going to spoil Kim's birthday present movie for her.
It's me birthday on Saturday.
Yeah. Happy birthday, my favorite person.
Thank you so much.
I'm very excited to celebrate your coming into existence in this iteration of your soul's journey.
Me too. My soul really they were up for a challenge in this one. They were like, "You know what? Let's fucking go for a challenge in this life."
I
I
mean,
think that's what they did.
honestly, that's kind of like your soul being like, this bitch is real. Like, we're going to level her up because she can handle it.
Ugh. Take me back to the non-physical dimension and let me float around in peace.
Oh, we are a metaphysical philosophy podcast.
But yeah, I'm excited for today. Ketrin let me pick some options. I only picked this one because I really wanted to see it, and then it was already on your list. And someone even texted me like not that long ago, like kind of in October, basically being like, "Have you seen this movie?" And I was like, "No, I can't because it's on Ketrin's list and it's been there since the beginning. Like it's near the top." And so I was like, "This is the one I want."
Do you know what's so funny, though? I should probably tell you this. Like, if there are any movies on my list, especially the ones that are, like, up at the top when we first started doing this, those are just, like, a lot of them are just from lists where I was like, oh,
Right.
I watched that or whatever. Like, there's
Yeah,
not that many
probably
that
same.
I have. Yeah. So.
Yeah, like
but this
strong
is fun.
feelings to like keep as mine. I mean, honestly, probably the same.
Yeah. Like I might have some on there where I'm like, no, I really want to watch this. But yeah, otherwise I'm like, I don't know. I get to, honestly, watching it through your eyeballs is so similar to watching it through my own that I'm just kind of like, sure. But I'm excited to do this one for you.
Yay.
Do we have any other BS news?
I guess we should say that we're definitely doing a live show. I had another thing that I was like, we should talk about this. Oh, it's December, so it's the last month for you to join Patreon in a yearly way.
Annual way.
Yep. As like an annual membership subscription, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And you get 2 months free
Yes.
through the end of this year.
Thank you for
So,
remembering that. I totally forgot.
That's pretty exciting. And then we're going to do a live show on not this Saturday because it's my birthday, but next Saturday, 12/12 at 6 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Nope. 6 p.m. us, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, exactly. I thought you were about to say 6 p.m. us, 9 p.m. you, and I'm like, nope.
It's going to be $12, and certain levels of Patreon get free, and then every other level gets 50% off. So just another reason to fucking join.
So fucking join.
And if you can go to kksamlive.com for tickets.
You can buy tickets there.
Yeah, it'll just be like a PayPal because it's virtual. So just send us money and we'll send you the link. Deal?
Exactly.
Deal. Handshake. Boop,
Shake
boop.
on it. Boop, boop. I love it.
Dinah, hoes out. I took a sip. I was taking a sip as I remembered that we needed to cheers, and then I almost choked on myself.
Gina holds out.
Tits up. I got way too excited to do it.
Yeah.
And then I forgot that I had it in my mouth to swallow.
I'm so sorry about that. That sounds tough. I'm trying this new thing.
Do tell.
Have you heard of water?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I'm drinking it.
I'm a big fan of that, actually.
Yeah. I vaguely remember like doing it in a past life.
Right.
Past time.
Yeah.
A past pandemic time. And I'm thinking of taking it up again.
It's interesting because I remember you doing it so strongly because you decided to put doorbell, ding dong, knock knock, fucking alarms on your phone every, I don't know, felt like 10 minutes. And they'd just go off for an entire recording. And I'd be like, just drink your water.
I'm really struggling. I know. Go ahead.
I was going to say get like a big milk juggy size one and refill it every day and be like, I have to drink this entire thing today, sort of thing.
I think that's what my next plan is going to be. It really, like, I used to be great at drinking water, not just pre-pandemic, but actually pre-being in the classroom again. Then when you're in a classroom and you don't know when your bathroom break is going to be, I would have anxiety if I drank too much water because, like, I've actually truly almost wet myself.
Right. Yeah.
In standing in front of a bunch of third graders.
That's how I felt when I drove Postmates for like a hot minute. I was like, when will I ever pee again?
Yeah.
And then I just come home like extremely dehydrated. And I was like, well, this is horrible.
Yeah.
On so many levels.
Yeah. So I think I just like need to like reacquaint myself with good old H2O.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Because I always have access to a bathroom now.
You do.
Mm-hmm. I can use it when
privilege.
Like literally whenever I want, I can use it.
Yeah, it's a big privilege.
Yeah.
Even working at restaurants.
Oh yeah.
I would definitely chug some water, but there are times where it's like just too busy to go, or like like the last place I worked at had like one bathroom for all like employees to share, so like there was always someone in it. So like there'd just be times where I was like, I need to pee. I need to pee. Hello, I need to pee. And then at like the Roosevelt, you had to like go like in the back secret hallway downstairs into like an employee area. Like it was like a whole thing to get to the bathroom. So it's just like depends on like what the situation is. There were times where like I think about that sometimes where I'm just like, gosh, I'm surprised I didn't like get bladder infections from working in restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm starting to notice it in my body where it's like I appear to be like shriveling up, but also bloated. And I'm like, this isn't how bodies are supposed to work.
Yeah. The old H2O is great for the skin. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me skin looking young.
You do have very young skin.
So that H2O, me lass.
Yeah. Me lass. Okay. Do you want to hear a movie?
Well, I wanted to talk about... Well, I don't really want to talk about it. I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay, great. Let's hear it.
Just because we're recording the day after Thanksgiving, and I had such a tough day. I just wanted to say it in case anyone else did. Because I talk a lot about my best friend and being happy and finding the best in things and stuff. And I do. But I'm just like real lonely. And like I was like alone. Like I know a lot of people were like, oh, we're not getting our families together. But I'm like, yeah, but you're still with your immediate family, like in your home.
Yes.
Or someone, you know? And I'm just like, I'm with myself all day. And then my immediate family is complicated and I don't speak to some of them. And so it's just so much. And I just felt really, really alone, which to be honest, isn't specific to the pandemic. I feel that way every holiday season.
I think there was definitely like a pretty like bright spotlight on it.
Yeah,
this year.
Like exacerbates it.
Exacerbates it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like that's how you're supposed to say the word, but it is.
It masturbates it.
It masturbates it and masticates it.
It does.
I can't think of any other Kate words, but yes, I'm glad that you said it, because I also just think, regardless of like saying it in case other people feel lonely, like I also think saying it out loud yourself is also good.
Yeah, I mostly just didn't want to cry, but then I felt real goofy for the first 5 minutes. So I was like, this seems like I can do it. But like my face is really puffy and my eyes are really puffy and like red from like crying so much. Like I cried a lot yesterday. And like the one time my extended family had a Zoom, I like missed it because I was crying too much, because it was like very late in the day. And so I was like, I needed this earlier. And then I took a nap and now I'm just sad and everything. And then I was like, and I can't get on Zoom now because I'm just
Yeah.
And then like I got to talk to like my cousin at least, but like I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about it. I'm sure everyone had mixed times this year.
Yeah, I mean, because I think holidays are stressful anyway. Like honestly, like even if you love the holidays, like they're stressful and like they just bring up a lot of stuff for everybody, and I think you're right. But I think this year, like I know what I do is any feelings that I'm having about the holidays, like I'm usually very busy, and so I can like kind of mask it. And even like our Thanksgiving, Kim, like even if you're feeling lonely, alone, lack of family, it's like we're still like very busy, and
yeah,
like,
I still need
we're
to
like
like
together,
get to Gretchen's, but by like 2 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I like have a destination and place to be, but usually in the morning, yeah, I do feel pretty shitty.
yeah, but and then it's like just this year, it's like
I was like, well, I guess I'll just lay here by myself all day in a penguin onesie and cry.
Well,
which is
any consolation.
really what I did.
You looked really cute in your penguin onesie.
Oh, thank you.
Nobody wears a penguin onesie like you.
Oh, thanks so much.
Yeah. I'm glad you said it, Burnsy.
Not looking forward to Christmas for that same reason, but I think maybe I'll be a little more proactive about taking care of myself, I guess, beforehand.
Like you felt like this almost like snuck up a little
bit?
bit?
I mean, I'm in a good way, I'm good at living in the present. So like a lot of times, like until the day comes of something, like I'm not even focused on it. You know what I mean? And I was like, it's not like I have to like prepare things or whatever. Right. So it was just like, it didn't exist until it existed.
Right.
Sort of. And so, yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Like doing like a little self-care prep.
Yeah, just
Christmas
maybe
Day
like having, and even just like even the extended family Zoom, like it was like day of that they sent it.
Oh,
to be like, so I think like I'm just gonna reply to that group text to be like Zoom tomorrow and stuff, and just I don't know, just like set some times up for myself.
I think that's a great fucking idea. That's super proactive.
I did get to Zoom with the twins, which is always the best because
those little babies,
cute. But yeah, and then like it was just everything was like last minute. Like even morning up, I was like still maybe gonna hang out with the boy, but then he went to his parents, and that was because of shutdowns and things. So so it's just everything's all up in the air, kind of. But
well, I'm proud of you. You're really good at identifying what's happening and not bottling it up and pushing it down until it explodes into unhealthy corners of the universe.
Thank you.
Good job with that at the very fucking least.
Yeah. I just want my person.
I know.
That's what I want.
I want your person too. Not for me.
Right.
I don't want your person for me. I want your person for you.
Thanks. Okay, tell me my birthday movie.
Okay. It was fucked.
I know now that we've already posted on Instagram, people were replying already, and I was like, I haven't heard it yet. Like, still.
Yeah. So, I'm very excited about the postmortem for this. Because the one sentence that I'm going to say at the beginning in terms of like, we don't usually talk about the response to movies, especially prior to me telling them to you. But this sentence was really interesting at the beginning of an article where it was like, the gist of the sentence was 50% of people think this is an incredibly misogynistic movie. 50% of the people think that this is a feminist movie.
Whoa, no.
So I'm just going to put that out there.
Oh,
and
no.
yeah.
Well, I can't wait to hear at the end which percentage you are.
Spoiler alert, I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know. So, okay, here we go. Are you ready?
Great. Yeah.
Okay. The director is Takashi Miike. I'm going to spell it because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it right. It's Miike. And it's written by Ryo Murakami and Daisuke Tengan. And it looks like it's based on a novel because the first writer, it says novel. So I think it's a book. But Takashi has done some fucked up shit that is also visually arresting. Like, really beautiful. So here we go. Dead or Alive.
What year was it? It's recent,
1999.
right?
No,
Oh,
1999.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was more recent too for some reason. It's absolutely not. And there are some sentiments in it that feel 1999.
Right. Remember 1999 when we thought that it was
Progressive.
yes. And then we watch movies from it now and we're like, oh,
Yeah.
shit.
It was actually the colonial times in 1999, apparently. Okay, Dead or Alive. Dad.
Dead.
Son.
Alive.
Mom.
Alive.
Asami.
Alive.
Biz guy.
Dead.
Piano man in a wheelchair.
Dead.
2 out of 6. No.
Great job, self. It's going to be another wonderful turn around the earth.
Oh, wait. I have to tell you this. Cousin was listening to, she's not caught up at all, and I think she kind of listens out of order. But she's like, when you guys start making money, I want you to hire a statistician and a probabilityist to figure out, like, what is the common denominator? Like, oh, no, it was that and a professional poker player. Because she was like, I bet you both have tells and you're subconsciously reading tells that Kim has somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, no, I think it's just luck. I don't think so.
I think that you have tells, but I don't know what they are. Like, I haven't done my research back, you know what I mean?
Got it.
Because I don't care enough, but
Well, apparently Cousin cares enough for both of us and wants to hire a statistician and a poker player.
Tell her to help me out. Thank you.
Okay. All right, here we go. So we see a young boy carrying a giant box of toys. He's about 10 years old, and he's carrying it down a dark hallway. We then see a woman in a hospital bed and a man at her side holding her hand, and a nurse comes in and says something along the lines of, like, it's her time. And the husband is, like, holding her hand really tight, and then we see the machine flatline.
Oh.
Then we see the young boy that was carrying the toys walks into the room, and the boy says, I brought this for Mom.
Oh, no.
And the dad just kind of nods his head. So then we see the dad and the son just walking down the street together. So just establishing shot of, like, now it's just the two of them.
Right.
Then we see the ocean and a title card that says 7 years later. And we see the man from the hospital. He's fishing on, like, these craggy rocks. And his son is fishing with him, but it's 7 years later. So now the son is like 17. And the dad is like, we should go home. It's too rough. And the son like pulls in a fish and like throws shade at his dad, being like, you want to go in because you can't catch shit. Kind of thing. And then all of a sudden, the dad starts like reeling in. Like, I was like, a whale? Like, are you reeling in a whale? That is how difficult it looks to reel this thing in.
Oh my.
Prior to that, he like took a phone call and it was like, deal, movie, business, pictures, that kind of thing.
Right.
And so then he starts reeling it in. Starts reeling it in. And I was like, this is a whale. Like, he's pulling in a whale. And then it cuts to him with the fish and it's like the size of my water bottle. I was like, how does fishing work? Like, are fish like really strong? And I just didn't know. Like, I'm not a fisher lady. But
Have you ever gone fishing?
I did. I went deep sea fishing when I was probably like 13. And like, I loved being on the boat and I even caught something, but it really upset me. And I threw it. And I like threw it back and was like, no. And I think we threw everything back. Because like, I don't think anyone in my family was super like, let's catch a fish and eat it. Like, we're all just kind of like, no, we'll go to the store and throw this animal back. But anyway, so cut to dinner and the son is like cutting up the fish that they caught. And he's talking about that there's this certain type of fish, the one that they caught, that's a hermaphroditic fish. Mm-hmm. So basically when it gets to 15 centimeters, it chooses which sex it's going to be, like based on the environment. Yeah. And I was like, that's super convenient.
Yeah.
So the dad asks what this one is, and the son is like, you saw the ovaries, like it's a lady or whatever. And the dad's like, I don't know much about ovaries. And and the son is basically like, you look like shit. You should get married again.
Oh my. Wow, harsh.
Yeah.
Just tell it to him straight, son.
Yeah, and dad's just kind of like, that sounds hard. And the son like feeds the dog, clears the plate, puts all the dishes in the kitchen, and then like pops his head back in, and he's like, your turn to do the dishes. So it's cute. They seem like two little bachelors living together. It's very sweet. Cut to dad doing the dishes. And then we cut to dad at work, and he's looking over the shoulder of someone, and it appears he's like looking over the shoulder of an editor who is organizing footage. And it's like all of these people in a big like rave situation. And
the footages.
The footages,
okay.
Yeah. And the dad is like, everyone, like, that doesn't even look fun or something like that. And the editor's like, everyone in Japan is lonely. And the dad looks, and the editor's like younger than he is. So he's like, are you lonely? And the editor just like looks back at him and kind of like knowingly smiles and is like, are you? Like, just kind of being like,
yes,
we're all lonely. Like,
I feel you, Japan. All of you.
Yeah, I very much got the sense that like culturally Japan is lonely, which I've never really heard that before.
I would love to know more about that.
Me too. I'm gonna postmortem it. Yeah, because it felt like a very sort of like the way that Americans are perceived as very individualistic.
Right.
It was almost said in that way of like, Japan, we're lonely.
Yeah.
So interesting. So then we cut to dad leaving the office, and his secretary like comes up to him real fast, and she's like, you have a meeting tomorrow. And he's like, it doesn't matter what time it is. Like, I'm here all day, like every other day. And then she kind of like runs after him. She's like, wait. And he's like, yes. And she's like, I'm getting married. And he's like, cool. Great. And she is just kind of like waiting for him to say something almost. And he's like, so see ya. And gets in the elevator. And then the elevator door closes, and like she looks a little pressed about it, but doesn't say anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now we cut to the meeting that she was talking about the next day, and it's at a bar. So it's Dad and Biz Guy.
Remember bars?
Remember bars? Barely. Like, honestly, barely.
Wow.
And I just think about, like, how much I would often be in, like, sensory overload at a bar and, like, have to go to the bathroom just to, like, get out of whatever the situation was. And thinking about it now, I'm like, oh my God, I would give anything to be on sensory overload and have to escape to a bathroom.
You're right. I know.
It would just, and like buy an overpriced cocktail, like a $15, like crazy shit cocktail.
Just hanging out with like a bunch of people at one time inside.
Complaining about how I can't hear you, but like, we're still there. It'd just be great. It'd be great. So, okay, so they're in the bar, and Biz Guy is just very like, business, movies, that kind of guy, and complaining about like, Japan is ruined, the recession has really fucked up, the movie industry, Japan is dead. And Dad is like, you said that last year, like just kind of being like, you're chill out.
Yeah. Oh, I know this guy.
Yeah. Oh, you definitely know this guy. So then they're like sitting at the bar, but then there's also like booths and tables. And
sounds amazing.
I know, God, it's so great. And there's like an eruption of laughter from a booth of girls over in the corner.
That's us and sing.
And then I just cried. I was like, I want to erupt in laughter.
This is the real horror of this movie.
It is. Oh no, this is it. This is the movie. 1999. It's actually just a romantic comedy in 1999 that is now a horror movie. That's it. Everyone is just super happy finding their person in bars, hanging out, buying overpriced drinks. The end.
Oh.
So happy birthday.
Hope you're having fun home by yourself crying.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so then eruption of laughter, and then we hear Biz Guy say some pretty misogynistic things. This is where it's like, this is where we start to teeter-totter
this
here.
Guy. Okay.
And he basically is like, ugh, awful women, so full of themselves.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And Dad is like, I think I'm going to get married again because my son told me to. But it's very...
Okay.
This is also where I was like, I feel like I want to maybe look into some cultural
Japanese
differences.
culture?
Yeah, because... So if I say anything that is offensive to any Japanese listeners, please know I'm just extremely ignorant, and I'm seeing this face value. So just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Because what I was hearing was very much like the way to get married was Dad just needed to go out and pick somebody. There was very little discussion of, I hope I meet someone and it works out,
Right.
kind of thing.
Interesting.
Which was off-putting to me. And then the way that they were describing their perfect woman was very similar to like how I have heard descriptions of what was expected of geishas, in the sense that like they should be well educated and have lots of musical entertainment talent and be demure and beautiful and just sort of like...
You were just listing me until you said demure.
I cannot wait until I get to my notes about the demurity of various characters where I just went, I wouldn't even know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to have just like small, demure feelings. I don't know how to do it.
Neither. I didn't know where you were going to go with that. Like, there could have been demure anythings, but specifically feelings, I can't do it.
No, and I found myself watching some of the women just being like, how are you so, like, reserved in a very, like, focused way, where I'm just like, none of all of your movements are perfectly sort of curated. There's no extraneous movements. There's no extraneous facial expressions. I'm just like,
Wow.
I would just feel like a fucking bull in a china shop in my own body.
Inside my own body.
Yeah.
It's true. Maybe is that why people are lonely? Because they're not like fully connecting emotionally?
It could be. I mean, there's some vibes there for sure. So they're talking about, I need this and this and this. And then Biz Guy is like, you know, she really needs to have her own shit going and be confident because those types of women are easier to take care of.
Okay.
And I was like, I mean, you're not wrong, but I also don't like the implications. So it was an uncomfortable conversation for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Biz Guy suggests an audition. Let's audition a wife.
That's what the audition is for.
For a wife. Yeah. So,
I mean, sign me up.
yeah, I'm like, do you want to have an audition for a husband? I will run the audition and ask uncomfortable questions, and you just sit there and tell me which one you pick.
I mean, yes, 1,000 times yes.
Great.
I see no downfall to this. So
I'll set it up. Submit your resumes and photos to kksampodcast@gmail.com, and maybe you'll get a Kim out of it. Who knows? So now it's the next day in the Biz office, and Biz Man is like, hey, Dad, come in here. He's like, do you remember that script that we sold to a German TV station? He's like, I had someone kind of rewrite it, and it's now about, I don't know, a ballerina and somebody else, not really important.
okay.
And we're going to make this movie. And so the dad is like, oh, wait, so we're like actually going to hold this audition that we talked about last night? Like, I think the dad was kind of like not expecting
right.
that
Yeah,
to
like
happen.
it was just like, sure, yeah, kind
exactly.
of thing.
And Biz Guy is like, just leave it to me. You can trust me. And so the dad is like, I mean, wouldn't that be fraud though? Like saying that we're like making a movie, but really we're auditioning for my wife. And Biz Guy is like, no. Like we're actually going to make the movie. But we're going to audition women for the lead role. And we're going to say that, you know, the people auditioning need to be beautiful and accomplished and talented. And the dad goes, well, if like she's such a catch, like why would she marry me? And Biz Guy goes, she wouldn't. But the other girls are going to be gems as well, and you can pick one of them. And he's like, maybe even find a wife for your son.
Oh no!
So many no's.
Just so many feelings about
so many
this.
no's.
I don't know where to put myself.
I know.
I can't. I'm uncomfortable in myself.
And I
don't know what to do with it. I'm bulling around in this.
Yeah.
oh God.
just bulling around.
Bulling around inside myself.
China's breaking everywhere.
Especially as actresses.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it gets just, you sit tight, girly. Happy birthday.
Great. So excited I picked this for myself.
Yeah. So then the dad says, okay, then why, if they're gems, why wouldn't they get the part? Like he's just kind of being like, how do we tell the difference? And Biz Guy says, because the lead will need to go to the unhappy girl. Unhappy girls have more to express as actresses, but don't make good wives.
Oh, fuck. I feel attacked.
Yeah.
I feel attacked.
Yeah, I kind of feel like someone's like throwing the china at me now. Yes. I'm not just running into it. Now we're adding china.
Yes, yeah, people are actually shooting it at us.
Yeah, throwing it like frisbees, like right into my face.
Wow,
yeah.
I feel so attacked. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm so. What do I do with myself?
You are not demure.
But I am A great actress.
That is very true. Both of us are great actresses.
Great, emotional, deep actresses.
Yeah. So dad is still kind of like, okay.
Right.
And Biz Guy is like, I'm a professional auditioner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
God,
So-
do I know this guy.
So question 1.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, do you agree? And does he agree to do this?
I mean, he definitely agrees because this movie's called Audition, and I assume the audition happens.
You are a bull in a detective shop right now, for sure. Okay. And
I
how
mean,
about
I
you?
know we just talked about having my audition, an audition for my husband.
Yeah, so question answered, I guess.
But this feels yucky. We're having an open call for my husband.
Yeah, we're not
We're
going
not
to trick anybody.
pretending that, like, I'm going to cast you in something. And there aren't stupid China rules.
Yeah.
I mean, plates of China.
Bull China.
Bull China rules.
Yeah, Bull China rule shops. Yeah.
Bull China rule shops. Demurity.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a word?
It is.
No, I'm not going to do it. I just leave it a no.
Okay.
God, I just stepped all over some China with that answer. Ouch, my feet.
Yeah, you have shards of China in your feet. One ding for and you're not going to do it, right?
No.
So that's another ding.
Yay. Birthday. Double ding.
Double ding birthday day. So he agrees, cut to dad in traffic, and he hears the ad for the audition over FM radio. So I do get the sense that, like, movies in Japan in 1999, like, there weren't, it's not Hollywood. It's not
Right. It's
Hollywood, California.
Yeah.
So it's basically just like, tomorrow's heroine, it could be you. And they're just describing, like, tomorrow's heroine is talented and confident and beautiful and all of these things. It could be you. And as we're listening to the dad listening to it in the car on the radio, we then cut to a dark, dank apartment with, like, nothing in it, really. No, like, furniture, and a girl listening to the ad on the radio. But we don't see her face. So now we cut to dad coming home saying to his son, like, I have to work from home tonight. And he's, like, also saying goodbye to the housekeeper. And we cut to dad looking through headshots and resumes. And these are not, like, our resumes where it's like, this is my pertinent information that has to do with acting. Like, theirs is like, I was a secretary and I got an award in high school for being demure or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. So they're like regular job resumes.
Regular, yes. And then like a little picture.
Which I don't know how to make, but acting resume, got you.
Oh yeah, we got you. So he stops on one and, like, looks at the resume part of it, and there's just, like, so many applicants, like, so many envelopes of many actresses. And he's, like, going through them on his desk, and then he looks at a picture of his wife on his desk and just, like, turns the picture away from him.
No.
Yeah.
God. That's heartbreaking.
Then Biz Guy calls on the phone, and dad picks up and he's like, I'm overwhelmed. This is a lot. And Biz Guy is like, pick 30 of them. And he's like, but read the resumes. Don't just look at the pictures. And so the dad's like, okay. So then the son comes in and he's like, do you want me to eat without you? And the dad is like, yeah, like, I'm doing something. And then the son is like, I brought a girl home. And dad is like, oh, she can have my dinner. At this point, son leaves and the dad kind of like drips a little bit of his coffee onto one of the resumes.
Okay.
And so he like pulls it out to like wipe the coffee off. And he looks at the picture of the girl he pulled out and he's clearly smitten by her picture.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's reading it and one of the lines says 12 years ballet. And if you remember the lead, the character is a ballet dancer.
Okay.
So then he reads the essay that she wrote. Apparently an essay was required
Good
as well.
Lord.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine if like to audition for a role, we also had to be like, why I'd like this role today? Because I have only been able to afford top ramen for the last 6 years. May I have this role, please?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Kill me.
So he reads the essay and she's like, I don't know if I could become an actress, but I was fascinated by the story because I too was a ballet dancer until I damaged my hip at the age of 18. I wanted to give up, but then I realized giving up is like approaching death very slowly.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I decided to apply. Ouch, my heart. Oops, I stepped on all this china.
I feel that one.
Yeah.
I love it. I love
So
it.
now we cut to the son and the girl that he brought home in the living room, and they've got like a bunch of books, school books, like spread out on the floor, and they're learning about dinosaurs. And the son is like clearly super into dinosaurs, but he's like 17, so it's like actually into dinosaurs, where it's
Right.
like, I might want to be a dinosaur hunter,
Hunter, for sure. Yeah, I got to hunt all those dinosaurs that are out in the world today in 1999.
digger, paleontologist. Is that what I mean? I think that's what I mean.
thought you meant he's going out, like going
Hunting
fishing.
for dinosaurs.
Hunting for dinosaurs.
Yeah. And so they're just like being boop, boop, cute, making eyeballs at each other.
Boop, boop.
And the dad comes in and introduces himself. And this was the other thing where I'm just like, what is Japan in 1999? Because the son goes, I saw her on the street walking to school and I thought she looked pretty. So I talked to her and brought her home. And I'm just like, it sounds like you found a dog without a collar and brought the dog home. Like, I don't understand how these. How
I
you're
think
saying this.
sometimes with these things too, there's things lost in translation a little bit. With
Very
movies like
good
this.
point. That's a very good point.
Sometimes like colloquialisms and things like that.
Yeah, that's
get a
very
little-
true.
Translated as weird.
Yeah.
So
I don't know that a ton was lost in translation, but some.
I'm just saying, yeah, like it sounds like
No, that's a very good point that I didn't think of. And so she, stands up and like bows to the dad, and she's like, and I saw his biology books and I'm very interested in them. So I came home. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Like she picked him too, basically. The dad puts on his coat. And then at this point, she realizes that she ate his dinner. So she kind of like giggles and she's like, oh, let me cook you something. And the dad is like, no. Like, you don't have to do that. And then he like the dad takes the dog out for a walk and then like gives his son like the okay sign after over his shoulder.
mm-hmm.
And the son is just like, yeah. the son is really charming and cute.
Is he? Mm.
Really charming and cute. We would have been no match for him when we were 17 at all. We would have been like, take all of my china. So then we cut to a single chair in a room, a big like gymnasium type of room.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Actually more like a dance studio probably.
Right.
The dad and biz guy are in there behind a table. And they start bringing in the girls one by one. And so now we just have a montage of all the girls coming in. And he's filming them. And it's just girl question. You see it, the scene. So
I
I'm
do.
just going to go through some of
See
the
it,
questions.
I've lived it. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I'm just going to go through some of the questions that are asked of these girls seemingly auditioning for a movie. And I want you to just think about if you were asked these questions in an audition. What does your father do? Why did you apply? Have you had loveless sex?
What?
Are you into drugs? And then we see a cheerleader with a baton. And then, who is your favorite actress? And someone saying that they love Julia Roberts. And then another girl who's doing like flamenco dancing. And then another girl who's being asked, would you work in the sex industry? And she says, my friend does. And then it's this one, which it's a very, what we're supposed to think is a very plain looking girl. And the guy is just looking at her being like, next. And I'm like, she's super cute. Whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then we get, what is sex to you?
Why would you answer that?
What is sex to me?
Sorry?
Sex is
what?
I don't know. It's the coming together of two people who hopefully vaguely like each other, and I partake in it sometimes.
Why are you asking me, Mr. Like interviewing me for a job, man?
Yeah,
Sir.
and like that was like what was like the girls were not put off by these questions. They were just answering them. And, I imagine, have you had loveless sex? The answers were, of course not. Whereas we'd be like, yes!
Last
Breaking
night.
China.
But it is that thing, especially when you're young and starting out and stuff too. Like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I do feel like there's times and situations that I've been in where I was like, this feels weird, but you like are just like, yeah, like you just smile and answer the question.
It's why it's so insidious, because like the power dynamic.
Yeah, it's bad. Because you want to fucking roll.
Yeah, and you're fucking desperate to do it.
Yeah,
desperate.
So you just like play along with whatever's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you have people that will say things to you like, "This will make or break this will make your career."
Right.
So there is that part of you that's like, I mean, would I blow a director for a role? Like, it's confusing. It's confusing. And they prey upon that, like they're preying upon our complete desperation.
Definitely.
So then we get, are you psychic? That one I was like, is he looking for a psychic wife? Like, remembering that these are all questions for a wife. I'm like, where does he come down on psychic?
Yeah, like, well, the thing about that one is like, what does he want the answer to be?
Exactly. Do you want a psychic wife? Do you not want a psychic wife? What kind of wife do you want?
What are you interested in?
Then they laugh for us, and then we have break time, 10 minutes, and the dad is like,
I'm sorry, laugh for us?
Yes.
Can you laugh for us really quick? I hate myself. This is too, I think I've definitely done that before. I hate my life. What's happening?
Oh, I've 100% done that for like a Swiffer commercial that I didn't book. And then I went to a bar where I couldn't hear my friends and spent my last $15 on an overpriced drink, and it was glorious.
Life was grand.
Yeah, those were the days. So dad is like, I'm nervous. I'm going to go to the bathroom during this break. And when he goes to the bathroom, he sees the girl from the photo, and he's like, there she is. So now we're bringing in a new batch of girls. And it's more questions. And it's like, I only ever wanted to be famous. I'm a designer. Here are my boobs. Last agent I had only specialized in porn. And then we see the biz guy being like, save that resume for me. For the project that I have."
No.
And then it's a girl holding up her wrist going, and this was my second suicide attempt. And I'm just like,
what's happening?
What is this audition? What is this audition?
What's happening?
Yeah.
When you said, here are my boobs, they were showing boobs?
She took her boobs out. Here are my boobs.
That's not good for an audition.
She didn't say, here are my boobs, because the boobs being out were self-explanatory.
Right.
But there they were.
That's not
allowed.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. So then it's Asami's turn. And that was the girl that he saw that he liked. She comes in all in white. And she's answering all the questions. And she has demurity for days. I mean, she has made demurity, which may or may not be a word, an art form. Like, truly, I love watching people that are capable of this because it is so far outside my comfort zone that I'm just like, how are you so still? I don't understand.
What do you think is inside their china shop inside? It's just china. They're just sitting and drinking it like
I think it's not what's in their china shop, it's the absence of a bull.
Right. Okay, that's what we got. So it's the same.
We all have
china
the same
shop.
china shop. Yeah.
They're just chilling in it.
Yes.
And we are a bull incarnate.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. That
okay.
tracks. Got it.
So we're getting her answers, but we saw her come in, and then for the rest of the interview, the camera is on Dad zooming in as she talks.
Interesting.
His face. And she's like, I've never been in a movie before, but I've had several offers. I was like, what? Who? You're just walking down the street and people are offering you a goddamn movie? Bitch, what street you walking down?
And you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah. What the fuck? Get out of here. Get out of my shop. And then she's like, I don't have an agent, but I have a music executive who looks after me.
Interesting.
Am I supposed to have one of those? Am I supposed to have a music executive that looks after me?
I don't know.
And so then she's like, here's his name and where he works, and this is his deal. And it's like Ace Records. And they're like, oh, Ace Records. And then they're like, it says here that you're unemployed. And she's like, yes, but I work for my friend 3 times a week. And I was like, well, so you're not unemployed, you're part-time. But she, like, that's considered unemployed, I guess. And so she's like, I don't live very extravagantly, so, like, I can get by on that. Wow. And she's like, if I just, if I have enough to just buy CDs and books, I'm happy. And the camera's just panning in on Dad. And then Dad asks a question, because up to this point, it's just been Biz Guy asking questions. And he asks about her ballet. And then we see her sweet face. And it's like, just the sweetest face. Like, I was just like, I just want to, like, look at your face for the rest of my life. And Biz Guy kind of, like, looks at Dad being like, sort of responding to, like, asking such a personal question that is directly related to, like, I'll keep going. So he kind of looks and he's like, tell me about your ballet. And then Dad says he was very impressed by her understanding of life and that we'll all lose something. And this is where Biz Guy is like, this is getting personal. Like, he's like, this is a very personal conversation you're having. It seems to be weird. And she smiles.
I'm sorry, this is too personal?
Apparently.
Great.
Apparently. Yeah. And so she just smiles and, like, says, thank you. And Biz Guy is, like, just looking at him like, anything else, weirdo? Like, and the dad just can't take his eyes off of her. So Biz Guy then asks for another break, and the dad is smitten. And Biz Guy is like, she makes me nervous. And he's like,
Biz Guy said that, or Dad said that?
Yeah, Biz Guy said that.
Oh, good.
And he's like, she kind of weirds me out, but, like, I can't put my finger on it. And Dad is like, I'm not hearing that. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Not weirded out at all. So now we cut to dad and son at home eating dinner. And the son is like, girls are so complex. I'm scared of girls. And he's just like, there's so much more there than I ever thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have thoughts and feelings. And a lot of them.
Entire China shops.
Whole fucking China shop.
China malls up in there.
Wow. Yeah. And so that was very interesting. And he was like, but I'm happy about it. Like, he was like excited by getting to learn about girls. So then he finishes dinner and tells his dad, he's like, why don't you marry somebody who can cook better than our housekeeper?
Mm-hmm.
But like, it was cute. Like,
yeah.
you know. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to go learn about dinosaurs. So question 2, you're all done dinner. Son is dinosauring it up. What do you do and what does dad do right now?
Is he going to go jerk off to her picture?
Okay. And you?
Like, what are my options? I don't know.
The world is your China shop, Kim.
You know, that's too much for me. I'm gonna. So wait, we ate dinner. I guess I'm gonna put on the old TV and watch some Great British Baking Show. I don't know.
1 point for you.
Great.
Turn on that Great British Baking Show and do nothing else. He goes into the office and he gives Asami a little ring-a-ding-ding-a-ling.
Oh, he
on
calls
the
her.
telephone.
Wow.
Yes. And he asks her out. And as
Interesting.
he's asking her out, the camera is like on the picture of his wife on his desk.
Interesting.
He hangs up the phone and he's just like so cute and happy and excited. And then Biz Guy calls and he's like, hey, so there's something like super weird. I called Ace Records and there's no record of a Mr. Shibata. And he's like, well, there's no record now because he actually went missing 18 months ago.
Uh-oh.
Question 3, what do you do and what does dad do?
I'm going to cancel my date.
Okay.
He is going to... He's going to just be like... I think he's going to put a blanket over it. Like, oh, that's weird, but like, I don't know. Like, doesn't really matter because I think he's too smitten.
That's 1.5 points.
Okay.
1 point for you. Cancel your date. Cancel your date. That's weird. Cancel your date. There's lots of other girls that auditioned to be your wife. So we cut
without knowing that they were auditioning to be your wife.
Correct.
I was thinking it's so weird. That's like the whole Harvey Weinstein situation of like, oh, then the guy who's in charge calls you and asks you on a date. Like, I'm not saying that's what's going on here for her or whatever, but it's like, again, that insidious weird thing where, well, you want the role and so you want to like please these people. And so you like, whether she wanted to or not, like you feel almost like obligated to say yes. In a
I
really
mean,
fucked
that
up way.
I didn't want to get that specific, but since you brought it up, this was like an actual conversation that I had with my dad and with Eric when the whole Harvey Weinstein thing came out. I just had so much empathy for these girls that may or may not, some of them may have fucked him consensually. And I was like, but it doesn't matter. And I said to my father and my husband, I was like, if Harvey fucking Weinstein in my 20s was like, I will make your career. Yeah. And you have proof that he can and does and will. All you have to do is blow me.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry. I cannot tell you that I wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you that I wouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
You're so fucking desperate.
Yeah.
And you just think to yourself, this one thing in payment for the life I've dreamed of since I was a little girl.
Yeah. And to
It's
be
hard.
fair, I was so fucked up. I was blowing all kinds of losers. Should have at least blown someone who gave me something, got something out of it.
I mean, yeah.
I'm
we
kidding,
were
kidding,
just
kidding, but well,
yeah,
kidding about
I
I
was kidding
should have
too.
done that. More truth about that. I did do that.
yeah. I'm like, what are we truthing about? What are we kidding about? I'm not sure because all of it sounds true to me. So yeah. Half point for him because he goes to lunch with Asami, and she it seems very nervous and is kind of like, understandably like, I don't know what you want from me,
Right.
and Dad is very, very warm and sweet and comforting, and he just says, all you have to do is enjoy your food and chat with me. And she's like, that's the best offer I've ever had. And he's like, I actually do have one question for you. So this is why you got a half point, because he does go out with her, but he doesn't totally put a blanket over it, because he says, who's the guy that you said looks after you? And she goes, well, actually, I told a fib. I've actually never met Mr. Shibata. I was just told by a friend that it would look better if I said I had a contact.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I'm sorry I lied. And the dad is actually like, oh, that's super chill and cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's like, great.
Yeah, because he's like, you're not creepy.
Yeah. Like that
you know.
just makes sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So then the waiter brings over food and she looks like very excited to eat it. Like it's very fancy to her. And she's very sweet and demure. And I wrote, not my kind of bitch, but I get it.
Yes.
Like I was like, I just could watch her precise movements all day. And she asks if they can see each other again. And she's like, I don't have anyone I trust or confide in, and you make me feel very comfortable and safe. And he's like, thank you so much. And he's totally smitten.
Mm-hmm.
So now we cut to Biz Guy and Dad on what looks like the rooftop of their building, where there's just like AstroTurf where you can just go up there and like throw baseballs into a basket. So that's what they were doing.
Throw baseballs into a basket?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so Biz Guy is like, this seems too easy. He's like, the perfect girl falls right into our scheme. And I'm like, I mean, you sound like the asshole, dude.
Right.
And he's like, no way. And he's like, and no one seems to know her. Like none of her contacts pan out. And of course the dad is like, meh. Cause he's like, well, now I know, she gave me an answer.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have good judgment, and if she makes any trouble, I can handle it. And so he's like, I don't even care about the movie. Like, I don't do whatever you want with the movie. And he's like, I found my girl, goodbye. And so Biz Guy is like, can you just do me a favor, one single favor, and just wait like 2 seconds before you call her. Like, just don't be so thirsty. Like, just give it a second.
Okay.
And he's like, this is your life. And Dad says, yeah, okay. And Biz Guy looks concerned, and Dad goes back downstairs. So question 4, are you chill? And is Dad chill?
I think he's definitely not chill. I think he's thirsty AF.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it cool, man.
You're gonna play it cool, but you are going to call her.
So, well, isn't is it not a yes or no question? You were like, are you chill or are you not chill?
I'm just asking for details if you had any.
Boo boo boo. I don't have a real reason except that I feel like I shouldn't call her, but I don't have a real reason for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Dad is not chill, you said. I'll give you a double ding for that.
Great.
Just a moment, of pause would be good. So I gave you a point because like he does end up calling her and like has no chill about it, but like he does try to wait. So it's kind of like a montage of like Dad looking at her resume and staring at the phone and then cut to him asleep, like wide awake, just like meh. And then it's interspliced with her in her apartment, kneeling, head down, hair sort of draped in front of her face, motionless, with a phone directly in front of her on the floor, and a large sack next to her, a giant burlap sack.
A burp
next
map?
to her. Okay. A giant burps map. And so it's intersplicing him trying not to call and her just perfectly motionless on the floor of her apartment.
Okay, creepy.
Very creeps.
This is bringing me maniacal laugh creeps vibes.
Oh, girl, you are going to be maniacally laughing all over this china shop in a minute.
Just uncomfortable laughs.
Yeah. So Dad finally falls asleep and like he dreams of his wife watching him from behind a tree. Then we cut to Dad taking a day off and the maid is like, she's like, this isn't like you to take a day off. And she's like, you're so efficient. And she's like, I wish my husband was as efficient as you are. And she asks, she's like, do you have a lady friend? And he like just kind of smiles. And then he picks up the phone. So he waited a day, but like he needed some more chill. Cut to him in the office. Dad's secretary comes in and she says goodbye to him, but then like doesn't leave. And he kind of is just like, bye. And she's still standing there and he's like, is something wrong? She's like, no, nothing. See you tomorrow. And leaves. And he looks at his phone again. So I guess I'm still going to give you the point because it's your birthday. But I guess now that I'm reading it back, it was like he was a little bit more chill than I thought because it looks like he picked up the phone when he was talking to
still hadn't called. He still hasn't called yet.
Yeah,
okay.
Picked up because now I'm saying I wrote picked up the phone, so it looks like he picked up the phone and then like put it back down.
Got you.
It's fine. You still get the point. So now he's in his office and he looks at the phone again. Cut to Asami in her apartment. Same position. Hasn't moved, but is now just asleep. Eyes closed, sitting there.
Oh, no.
And all that's in the apartment with her is the phone directly in front of her and a giant burlap sack.
What's in the sack?
What's in the sack? And we cut to Dad. He picks up the phone, then hangs up again, then leaves the office, stops, turns around, and we cut to the phone ringing in her apartment. All we see is a slight curl of the corners of her smile and her slowly lifting her head. Back jumps! She picks up the phone, but is kind of like, oh, what a surprise. Cut to them having dinner. And she says, you may think I'm a clingy type of woman, but I've been waiting for your call. And now that you're here, I can't stop smiling. And then they like clink glasses. And again, God, I wrote this so demure. I wrote it like 16 times.
The bull inside you cannot get over it.
The bull inside me was just like, what is this creature?
Bull's just sitting down eating popcorn, watching her, just fucking like, whoa, donkey facing.
What are you? Yeah. So then he's like, how is your family? And she's like, they're average. She's like, they don't live around here. My dad wanted to live by a golf course. And he says, do you still work at your friend's bar? And she says, yes, it's called Stonefish. And he says, can I come visit you? And she says, no, my friend really gets all up in my business, like my personal life. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to complicate it.
Right. Convenient.
Yeah. And he's like, okay. So then he tells her, he's like, so the film may not get made because they lost the money backer for the film or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he apologizes because he knows that she needed the money, like meaning like for the part. And she says, meh. She's like, I feel lucky to have met you. So she's like, I already won. So now they're at a new dinner. So a new restaurant, new dinner. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I feel so safe and serene with you. She's like, I lost ballet, but I found you. And
oh no.
Uh-oh. And he's like, well, we all carry on. And so he's equating losing his wife with her losing ballet.
Yeah.
And they're staring at each other. And she says, I've been on my own my whole life, and I've never had anyone. And men have approached me, but none made me feel safe.
I am losing it because this feels so uncomfortable and scary. Like it's like something's going to happen bad, but at the same time, I'm like, this is the dream.
Yeah, at the same time, you're like, hashtag same. Yeah.
I'm like, this is all I want in life, but it feels the...
I'm going to have you do me a favor and hold that china plate, if you would. Okay. So then we cut to them in a cab, and they're just smiling at each other, setting up when to see each other again. And then she like tells the cab driver, she's like, you can stop here. And she gets out and thanks him. But like, it's just on the street. Like, she's just like, you can stop here, like maybe catching, I don't know how that works. And now we cut to her inside of her own apartment, and we see the phone and the sack on the floor. Mm-hmm. Cut to son interneting about dinosaurs.
So cute.
He just loves dinosaurs.
It's so cute.
It's really cute. And he's like very excited because like some new fossil was found, and he's like, I gotta go learn everything there is to know about it.
I love him.
And dad comes in to talk to him, and the son like kind of whirls around in his chair, and he's so cute. And he's just like, have you found a girlfriend? And the dad is like, how did you know? And the son is like, oh, behaving oddly, smiling to yourself. And dad's like, she's 24. And the son's like, ooh, closer to my age. And then he's like razzing him, and he says something about like, she must be cheating on you, being like, you're old, she's young, kind of thing. And dad's like, whatever. And the son says, have you asked her to marry you yet? And I'm like, how quickly do these things happen? I'm like, this is fast. But everyone seems cool with it in 1999. And so he's like, no, but we're going away this weekend, and I'm going to ask her then. And the son is like, yeah. And the son is like super supportive, and dad is like, you'll meet your new 24-year-old stepmom soon.
Man, I got to get with this demure shit so I can get me a husband.
I guess like it's yeah. If I guess men are looking for people to take care of their china, and who are you going to pick? A bull or Miss Demure?
Right. I never knew that that's what they were looking for.
Honestly, same.
Why didn't anyone ever explain this to me? We have so many guy friends. I have so many brothers. No one's ever explained to me that what a guy is looking for is someone to take care of their china.
Yeah. Why didn't Eric? Well, the reason Eric didn't explain it to me is because in comparison to him, I am demure. He is a literal actual non-figurative bull in a china shop. And so to him,
you are
he's like, oh,
demure lady.
She's so precise and small and quiet. Yeah.
Wow, that just I think we just figured it out.
We really did. Yeah.
Wow. So I just gotta find a more.
So don't put your bull under a bushel. You just find a bigger bull.
Yeah, I just gotta find a more bull than me.
Yeah. There you go.
Interesting. Well, I can't wait for our auditions. So open call.
Here we go.
How much of a bull are you? China shop. First question.
Be like, I'm not in the right place. So, cut to Asami standing on a balcony looking out over the ocean. And it's a haunting shot, just really beautiful. Like a still of that I would like hang on my wall. It was gorgeous. And Dad is just watching her, and she demurely turns to him and smiles. And now we cut to the bedroom, and Dad is blinded by his boner. Like his boner must be just blocking all vision, because she is just sitting on the edge of the bed, like perfectly stick straight with her hands just resting on her knees, staring at the wall, not responding to the things he's saying to her. And he's just like, you're so beautiful. And I'm like, bitch, this lady is creep. What are you doing?
This lady is creep.
And so she's just sitting there staring straight ahead. And he's like, we can go here, we can go here. Or like, this place is really nice. Clearly it's somewhere where he like took his wife, probably.
Yeah, okay.
And she just slowly gets up, turns off the light, and he just keeps talking. And she turns away from him and just starts unbuttoning her dress.
Uh-oh.
And then she just takes it off. And then takes her bra off. And then takes her undies off. And then just demurely and precisely gets under the covers, pulls them up to her neck. And he's like, oh. And she just lays there and she says, come here, please. And he looks real nervous and he's like, excuse me, let me just get this boner out of my face.
Oh my.
And he starts to like take his jacket off, and she's like, don't take your clothes off yet. She's like, just look at my body. And she just lifts the blanket starting at her feet, lifts it all the way up very, very, very slowly, and stops right before we're going to see her hoo-ha. And we see that there are 2 long burn scars on her upper inner thigh.
Oh, no.
And she says, I burned myself by accident when I was young. I want you to know everything about me. So the attitude again felt like, I'm not perfect and I need you to know that.
Yeah.
Like as if this would be, I'm not the perfect doll you thought I was kind of thing, which made me very sad. Very sad. And he is just like, you know, cool with it, obviously. And then she says, will you love me alone and no one else? Question 5. What you say, Kim?
I think that he's like, yes. And
say those words again to yourself.
Will you love me alone
and no one else?
Oh. No. I love other people too.
Double dang, birthday girl. So, he says...
Really led me into that one, thanks.
You're welcome. He says, I will. So, she then says, they all say that, but you're different, aren't you? She says, love only me and no one else. He nods his head, takes off his jacket, and kisses her. And then she kind of like flips him over. I was like, okay.
Yes.
Then we cut to him post-coitus, and he's awoken by a phone call in the room. And he looks over, and she's not there. And the concierge on the phone says, your companion left, so we need you to confirm your stay. Like, I guess that meant like
checked out. Like she
Yeah.
checked out. Like, are you
Yeah.
still gonna stay?
exactly.
Interesting.
And he's like, what? She left? And so he's like super upset. And we cut to dad at work with Biz Guy like the next day.
What?
And he's like, she isn't answering her phone. I can't contact her. I just need to talk to her. And he's like, there must have been some misunderstanding. Like, I don't know what happened, but like, I just need to talk to her. And he says to Biz Guy, he's like, can you find her address? So question 6, you're Biz Guy. Do you help him? And does he help him?
I think I think that's fucked up.
Super fucked up. Also, I'm like, been there on the, I was dad though.
Yeah. Someone left you in a fancy hotel?
Not in a who was taking me to fancy hotels, Kim? No, someone left me in the basement of some musician's house. That's how I rolled. Fancy hotel. Come on. They don't let bulls into those places.
Right.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Oh,
find his address.
I'm like,
find her. Oh, and I'm the friend.
Yeah.
No, because I think that's fucked up. So I'm gonna be like, she disrespected you. You need to let it go, bro.
okay.
Also, I already had a weird feeling about her. So
Yeah. What does Biz Guy do?
what does Biz Guy do? Because he's like such a dick. Like, I bet his name is the equivalent of Chad. It's the Japanese Chad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What does he do? He's such a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
But I feel like, what does he do? It could go either way, really, honestly. But I guess I'm gonna say he does. I don't know. That one really could go either way.
1 point for you. Biz Guy says, no,
Yeah.
I'm not helping you. Find
Right.
her. She's a creep.
Right.
I
Yeah.
told you. And he also like gets a little feisty with him, and he's like, I need you to forget her. She's got you way too sprung. Also, I thought you said you could handle her if she caused any trouble.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Boop boop.
Boop boop. And dad is basically like, don't tell me what to do, and like slams the door and leaves. And it's just like, you're not being supportive. And he leaves. So we cut to him in his office, and he's like pacing, right? And he's looking at her resume, and he sees Shimada Studios, where she trained for 12 years. Question 7. What does dad figure out a way that he could maybe find her, and what do you do?
To contact Shimada Studios or go visit them and ask. Same,
Okay.
hand in hand.
I'm going to give you a double ding for that. He realized that there is an address on there, and it's for Shimada Studios, because the whole issue is like there's no addresses anywhere. And he's like, there is an address, Shimada Studios. I gave you a point for that because you're going to gain some information. So he cut to him going to the address. It's all boarded up, okay, the door. But he hears a piano inside being played. So he basically like, he can kind of get his arm through the boards to kind of pry open the door behind them. And then he starts kind of like pulling the boards off. And he goes in. And there's an old person sitting in a wheelchair with their back to us playing the piano.
Mm-hmm.
And there's point shoes hanging off the chair, I think. Mm-hmm. And there is this little fire going. So like it's about the size of like our fire pit, Kim. So it's like 12 by 12 little square.
Yeah.
But it's more like a canister, okay? And it's got these like sticks in it that are being heated by the coals down below. But do you remember that game where it was like sticks that you would stick through and then you would have to pull one out and make sure that the marbles didn't fall?
Yeah.
It looked like those sticks, but like made of iron and like heating up in this little fire that was like there to keep him warm. Dad comes in and he says, "Excuse me." And he says, "Are you Mr. Shimada?" And he says, "I called earlier. But you didn't pick up. I want to ask you about Asami." And the old man, without turning to him, tells him to go away. And Dad says, "I know I'm intruding, but have you ever had any trouble with her?" And he's like, "I just want to contact her." And the old man starts creepily laughing and doesn't turn around.
Okay.
And he's just laughing. And the dad's like, "Cool." Then he slowly wheels himself around. And the old man says, "Have you seen her?" And Dad says, "Yes." And the man laughs. And he says, "Have you heard her voice?" Dad's like, "What do you mean?" And he laughs and starts wheeling himself over. And he says, "Have you touched her body? Have you made love to her? How was it? Good?" And then I wrote, "That is a squeaky ass chair. It needs some WD-40 up in that bitch." And Dad is like not answering the questions now because he's like, "What the fuck?" And old man says, "Did you smell her?" And then he laughs again. Then we see a flashback to a little girl doing ballet in that same studio, and an old man, like the one in the wheelchair, crawling towards her with these little iron heated sticks. And she has her legs spread and she's like whimpering, and he burns the inside of her thigh.
Oh, shit.
So now back to him in the present, and creepy wheelchair guy is like still laughing. And then we see that his feet are like prosthetic feet, but Frankenstein feet. Like they do not look profesh at all. They look like makeshift prosthetic feet made out of clay that my 5-year-old cousin did. And then underneath of it, it's like big wooden blocks. So it's like they don't appear to be super weight bearing because he's still in a wheelchair, and they're like sewn on like fucking Frankenstein. It's super weird and gross. But he stands up and is like, "Go away." And Dad's like, "See ya." So now we cut to Dad splashing his face like in a bathroom. And he has an idea. "Kim, what do you do now, and what does he do now?"
He's going to go to Sugarfish.
Stonefish.
Yes.
What are you
I'm going to live out the rest of my life never thinking about this bitch or her dance creep instructor ever again.
Double ding, lady.
The fuck was that?
Get the fuck out of this whole situation, okay? So we now see him walking down the stairs at Stonefish, and it's like an underground bar. Like I feel like he had to go down like 16 flights of stairs into the dank, deep depths of hell to get to this fucking Stonefish bar. And I just wrote, it's seedy as fuck, 1,400 flights down. And he gets to the bottom, and the door is closed, and there's like like mail shoved under the door, like it's been closed for a long time. And then a man 1 flight above is like, hey! And the dad's like, "Whoa!" And he's like, no one's there. And the dad's like, oh, is it not open today? And the guy's like, it closed a year ago.
Shady.
And I love this guy because he's like telling him what happened, but like you can tell that he's like he would love watching Real Housewives of Orange County.
Yeah,
he's
he's ready to share the gossip.
Yeah.
He's like, let me spill the tea for you.
Right. And so he's like, it closed a year ago because the owner was murdered.
Oh, shit.
And dad is like, why? And the dude says it had something to do with like, I don't know, like something about a love affair and like a music director and drugs or something. And he's like, it was crazy. Like she was all chopped up and like our floor is tilted because it's like an old building. So the blood was just like spilling out into the hallway. Like he's like here for it. He's like describing an actual murder the way we describe horror movies to each other.
Totally.
And he's like, when the police got here, they found the owner like all chopped up into like lots of pieces. But they found 3 extra fingers, an ear, and a tongue that didn't belong to her.
Shit.
And he's just like crazy, right? And dad's just like, what am I? So first we got Frankenstein feet, and then we have extra tongues and ears and fingers. And we see like a flash of like a tongue on the floor, just like, and the dad is just like, whoa! And totally freaked out. And then the guy is like, okay, bye. And like goes into his little place.
Here for it.
I love him. I want to like a spin-off of that guy.
Yes.
Where he's just like always looking around corners like, what's happening? And so now we cut to home. Dad's home. And the maid is there. And she like calls the dog for dinner and like gives him a bowl and then pets the dog goodbye and she leaves. And we see that as soon as she leaves, perspective, someone is watching her leave. Mm-hmm. So then we have all POV now. Okay. So we are the person watching her. We are the person going inside behind her. We are going upstairs, like running upstairs. We are looking all over the house. We see the picture of his wife on the desk and it stays there. And then we see his carafe of booze. Like he's got like one of those fancy things.
I see it. I got you.
Then the house kind of goes dark, like showing the time passing, right? And we hear a voicemail from Son, who's like, hey, I'm going to stay out tonight with a friend. I'll see you the next day. And we hear Dad, like, now he comes in, like, listening to the message, okay? Turns on a light, picks up his carafe of booze, makes a drink, lays down on the couch, and then starts to feel really funny. And he like holds his head and he like can't quite see. So question 9, Kim, you start to feel this way. What do you do and what does he do?
Call 911. I do. And
Okay.
he what does he do? I'm dizzy. I'm gonna drink some water.
I'm going to give you a double ding. Yes, call 911. Now, as I'm asking you this question, I feel like he has a cell phone or a phone near him. But like as I'm asking this to you, I'm like, do I know that? I'm not sure. Because he does get up and try to go somewhere. So it's like, I guess I can't say he's not going to the phone. It's just as I'm saying this to you, I'm like, I really thought he had a cell phone, but why do I think that kind of thing? Anyway, so point for you, it's fine. He stands up, starts stumbling, and then like falls just straight back. Like just like he's fucking made of wood and just falls down.
Oof.
So I need to do a postmortem on this as well. I'm just going to describe it to you as I see it. Okay?
Okay.
Cut to a flashback of them, Dad and Asami, at the restaurant the first time. But the convo about her family extends. Okay? So we get more information. And we get, my parents divorced. I lived with my uncle. All I remember is being abused. My uncle's wife was abusive. But I don't talk about it because, or the dad says, you don't have to talk about it if it's too painful. And she says, no, I want you to know everything about me. Mm-hmm. And she says, she made me take cold baths and I got pneumonia. She pushed me downstairs and broke my shoulder. The doctor finally got worried. And so I went back to my mom. And Dad says, how old were you? And she says, 7. Then she says, my mom remarried. No more injuries, but my stepfather hated me. He was disabled and couldn't walk, so he was always home. I would hide in this dark room every day after school. And we see a flashback of her as a little girl, and the room where she's hiding appears to be the apartment where we saw the phone and the sack on the ground.
Okay.
Cut to her in what... Oh, yeah, I already said that. Great. Cut to their various dinners, and we're now seeing more extended conversation. So she's like, I feel safe with you. Ballet purified my ugly feelings. She's like, it's why I didn't kill myself. She says, and he says, you've been through so much and you don't show it because you're demure.
Yes.
And he says, you're wonderful and I've been looking for a woman like you. And then we hear, darling. And he looks around and it's his wife. So basically what I'm learning is we are seeing flashbacks, things that we didn't get to see but aren't flashbacks of him. We're just basically, this is an information dump of things that are now being put together is all I can say. Because sometimes it was a flashback and then other times we were seeing things that I was like, he would have had no way of seeing that. So that's why I was a little confused, and I'm going to kind of post-mortem what this whole scene was supposed to be.
Okay.
But regardless, it's information that I'm giving you now. So that's all you really need to know. He looks around. It's his wife. And she's like sitting at the next table. So like this didn't really happen. And he introduces Asami to his wife. And his wife says, don't marry her. And the dad says, she's very nice. And mom says, no, not her. And then we hear, darling. And this time it's Asami saying darling to him. Now we cut to Asami and him in her apartment. And she violently charges at him and takes his pants off and starts violently blowing him.
Okay.
And he's like into it, but also this is aggressive. Mm-hmm. And then he looks down and it's not Asami anymore. It's his secretary. And she's like, you made love to me and then it led nowhere. Then he looks down and it's Asami again. Then he looks down again and it's his son's girlfriend. And he like throws her off of him.
Okay.
Because he's just like, ah! And he throws her off and then he trips over the sack in the middle of the room. He walks over to it. He kicks it. Nothing. So he opens the top. Back jumps! And a man, quotation marks, starts crawling out of it.
Okay.
Question 10. What do you do? What does he do?
Is
this is not a trick question.
Is this happening or
Answer? So that's answer as if it's happening.
Okay.
Answer as if it's happening.
I'm gonna get the fuck out of there. I'm gonna throw the phone at him and get the fuck out of there, hand in hand.
Love it. 1 point for you. Yes, please leave. He just kind of is backed up against the wall, like in shock, like holding his hand over his mouth, just like can't move, and is like totally freaked out as this man starts crawling towards him with no feet, just Frankenstein nubs, 3 fingers missing off of his right hand. So all he has is like the ring. He's just got the ring finger. That's it. And so like it's just him like with his ring finger pointing at him, no tongue. And he's just like, and the dad is like losing it. And then we see Asami behind the dad, and she's barfing into a dog bowl.
Okay.
We then see outstretched finger man hand, and he's just like,
What are you going to be for Halloween? Oh, I'm going to be outstretched finger man hand.
yeah. Hey, don't take my idea. So then we have a flashback to the men at the bar, or the man at the bar at Stonefish talking about extra parts found. And we're like, oh yeah, that's who they belong to. Cut to inside the man's mouth so that we can just be really sure there's no tongue in there.
No, thank you.
And I'm like, I knew there wasn't a tongue. I got it. I got there. And then Asami comes over with the dog bowl of barf and puts it in front of him, and outstretched finger hand man just starts yum, 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 eating up the barf.
Blorf.
Blorf is right.
Okay.
So now Asami is a little girl, and now it's footless wheelchair man is behind her, and he falls to the ground with 2 of those fire sticks and is crawling towards her again. Mm-hmm. And it's a flashback to her dancing. He's yelling at her to keep dancing, and he burns himself like to be scary, being like, keep dancing or I'm going to do this to you. And then crawling towards her again, and this time it's her adult legs spread, and he says good girl and burns her.
Fuck.
Cut to flashback of Asami coming up behind the wheelchair. Now this, I said flashback, I don't know if it is a flashback, but cut to Asami coming up behind the man in the wheelchair with piano wire. And she slowly puts it around his neck. And he's not moving. He knows she's there, but he's not moving. And she says, wire cuts through bone so easy. He doesn't move. And we just see her hands pull really tight. And we hear the Foley of wires cutting through human
neck bone
and all of those noises. And now we just see flashes of the housekeeper like doing it with the sack man on the stairs with outstretched finger hand man.
Oh no.
And then a flashback to setting up the audition, and now back to dad like falling to the ground, like seeing outstretched finger hand man eating his barf bowl. And then we cut back to dad finishing his fall to the ground. So it was like,
whoa, wow.
He flops to the ground.
Right, cool.
And he's awake, but he can't move.
Oh, fuck.
So then we hear someone in the kitchen, and it's Asami with a whole bunch of accoutrement, like if a old-timey surgeon was like a steampunk style surgeon. That's kind of her vibe. Cool costume, honestly. You can be outstretched finger hand man. I'll be steampunk Asami surgeon.
Okay. Is it kind of was it American Mary?
Yes.
Ish.
This is more like brown leather and buckles.
Okay.
Kind of look. Okay. And like black gloves sort of thing. So she's like putting on all her shit. In the flashback, we saw the final pull of the things and the wheelchair man's head just like rolls away.
Okay.
Forgot about that part. And so she's putting on her accoutrement, and then we see a flash of the dog with his head twisted off, but it was really quick. And I was like preparing myself. I was like, they're showing this dog one too many times. Like they're trying to get me attached to this fucking dog. So now she's in the living room. Dad is on the ground, can't move. And she's got her old-timey doctor bag. And she has a needle, like a syringe. And she says, "You're paralyzed. Your nerves are awake, but you can't move. That way, your skin becomes very sensitive to pain." And she goes over to him, and she pulls his tongue out of his mouth, and she sticks a needle through it. And he's paralyzed, but he's in so much pain that like his body is twitching. Like he's like, fuck. And he can still like make noise out of his mouth.
Right.
So it's like all the bad parts of being paralyzed and not like the parts of being paralyzed that you want, where it's like, I can't feel anything or I'm asleep.
Oh, I was like, what parts of being paralyzed do I want? I don't think any, but
not knowing.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. The parts of paralyzation that I want is
like
not
nothing
knowing.
is numb.
Yeah. And then she like rolls him off the rug, lays down a tarp and rolls him back onto the tarp.
Okay.
And then she kneels on him, like across him, her legs on either side. And she starts cutting his shirt off with these scissors. And she's saying, "So you call a bunch of girls to the audition, don't give them the part, and then ring them up and have sex with them." And then he takes a needle, like a little, like what looks like not apothecary. I'm having word problems. Acupuncture needle. Looks like an acupuncture needle. And she like pierces it into his skin, and he like jumps, like his body involuntarily like convulses because it's so painful. And she's sticking it into like his abdomen, and she just pushes it deeper and deeper and deeper. And the subtitles are her going deeper, 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 deep. But what she's actually saying is kitty, 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 kit. And then she gets kitty, 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 kit. Kitty, 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 kit. And she's smiling.
Fuck.
And she says, all words are lies, but pain doesn't lie. When you're in pain, you see your own shape clearly. And then we pull back to see like just a ton of needles in his abdomen, just like needled all over the place. Mm-hmm. And she smiles. Ugh! Okay, so she's like knees on either side of his pelvis, right? And then he's got dozens of needles in his abdomen. And then she just scoots up so that she's like kneeling now, like on his abdomen, that has a bunch of needles in it. And I was just like, ow! And so then it's another needle, and she's smiling, and we don't know where she's sticking the needle now because we're just seeing her face going kitty, 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 kitty. And I was like, the folly is off the charts because we just have her, but then we just have of whatever the fuck she's sticking it into.
Oh, shit.
And I just wrote, is she sticking them in his eyes? Like it looked like she was sticking them in his eyes. But then it pulls back and it's like still bad, but just like this really sensitive part right under your eyes is where he's got like a dozen fucking needles. Eesh. And she says, only pain can make you see yourself. Only pain can show you who you truly are. And then she says, your son, Shingiko? No? She says, if he suffers, you'll understand much more clearly.
No.
I wrote don't touch him. I think he's able to like kind of sort of say don't touch him.
Yeah.
And she says, see, you love him too. You said you'd love only me. And I'm like, oh, this bitch nuts.
Bitch. Oh, shit.
She says, I don't want to be just one of them, one of the people you love. She says, I give you my entire self, but you can't give me yours? And as she's saying this, she has these shackles that are being tightened around his feet, his ankles. And she says, if you have no feet, you can't go anywhere. Then she pulls out that piano wire.
Oh, fuck.
She says, it cuts right through bone. And so she wraps it around his left foot, and she's just smiling. She's just having the time of her life. Yeah. She is living her best life.
Good for her.
And she just starts sawing Hereditary on the neck style. Just smiling. Just having a blast. Oh my God, it looks like I'm just jerking off 2 dicks. I'm going to do this. Just yay for sawing off feet. And cut to us seeing old Piano Man, like she's clearly thinking of this, in his chair, just like jerking off as she's dancing.
Ew.
It's bad. So now we see the perspective of what she's doing through the window of the house. And she just like finishes chopping off his left foot and picks it up and just chucks it at the window. And it just leaves like a splat on the window. And then she starts putting the wire around his right foot and just starts sawing. But then stops. Boop, 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 boop. She hears something. Son is home. And she like goes to her bag real fast and like gets a needle. And the son is just like talking. Like he just walks in and he's like, hey, Dad, my friend got sick. So I'm home. Question 11. As the dad, what do you do right now and what does he do?
What do I do right now? I'm paralyzed. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think, what do I do? I'm paralyzed. I need to save my son. Fuck. I'm paralyzed.
Correct.
Guess, I guess hand in hand, we're both going to try to make any noise that we possibly can and say, get out, if we can, any type of sound towards him.
Yeah. So I may have people that have a different take on this. I felt like he was making noise like throughout this entire thing, right? Like screaming, making sound.
Right.
I guess it could be argued that like the paralysis medicine or poison may have like worked more slowly and like now he can't make noise.
Okay.
But I was confused as to why like he wasn't like, ah! Like just whatever noise he could make, he didn't. He kind of like tried to like wiggle almost, like try to move, but like he's paralyzed. He can't. So we see Dad trying to edge towards somewhere when she runs off with the needle, like basically to go hide. And the son comes in and sees his dad on the floor, okay? Shirtless, sans one foot, almost sans another foot, covered in needles.
Oh,
and he goes,
man.
Dad, what happened? I was like, I mean, fair question, son.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
So Dad tries to warn him that she's right behind him, and she lunges at his son, and then he wakes up.
Oh.
And he's in the bed and breakfast again. And she's next to him in bed, and he wiggles his foot, which is there, and he like cries with relief.
What?
Cut to him in the bathroom of the bed and breakfast, and he like splashes water on his face, still super freaked out, and she's just sitting on the bed like a creep looking at him. And she's like, what's going on? And he turns, and she's just looking at him, and she's like, what's wrong? Are you all right? And he's like, yeah. And he goes back and lays down in bed with her, and she kind of like crawls on top of him, like to snuggle him. And she's like, I've decided to accept your proposal. And he says, my proposal? She says, I can't believe it. Am I allowed to be so happy? Out of all the girls that went to the audition, I must be the luckiest. I didn't become the heroine of a film, but of real life. And she's laying on his chest, and he's just staring up at the ceiling, and he falls back to sleep and wakes up in his living room, paralyzed and covered in needles.
Oh, damn it. Take me back to the B&B.
And he wakes up like right as Asami is like charging his son from behind, and the son ducks right at the last second, and he's just like, who are you? I fucking love the son. And she now has this little spray bottle, like it looks like mace, and she just is going spritz with like a smile and like walking towards him. Spritz. And he's just like,
She's so creepy.
So fucking creepy. And so he runs up the stairs. Oh, there's my running again. Running again. He runs up the stairs and he like kind of trips. So when he gets to the top of the stairs, he's on the ground. He's fallen. She's running up behind him, just spritz, 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 and starts just like really like spraying him down. So you're on the ground. Right at the top of the stairs, and she's now kind of like over top of you.
Yeah.
Like coming down on you. Question 12, what do you do and what does the son do?
Kick that bitch down the steps, hand in hand. Yes.
Double ding. Yeah, he just puts all of his fucking force into his legs and just sends her flying down the stairs.
Hell yeah.
Cut to her at the... Oh, I have to give you points. Hold on.
Don't forget me points, bitch.
Cut to her laying at the bottom of the stairs. Eyes are open. And her neck is like, like her neck is exposed. And then we saw the grossest shit I've ever seen that I didn't even know was like the grossest thing I've ever seen. She's not fully dead. She's like almost dead. So we see her swallow, but we hear and see what it sounds like to swallow with a broken snap neck. And so like the bone we now see is like not where it's supposed to be. And so it like moves and like cracks, and she's just like gulp, gulp. And I was just like, gross. Soup's gross. I hated it / loved it. And now dad is like kind of wiggling, like looks like it's maybe wearing off a little bit because he's managed to kind of like wiggle so that he can see the bottom of the stairs. And he sees that she's dead. And the son comes over and is like, Dad, are you okay? And I'm like, kid, he's not okay.
His foot's like by that window over there.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't need to stop at Dad first to see if he's okay. You can just go straight to the phone and call 911. Yes. You can just do that. So then he goes and calls the police. All Dad can say is call the police. Like even paralyzed Dad is like, I'm
idiot.
You go call the police, please.
No, son, I'm not okay. Please call the police.
I'm absolutely the opposite of okay, bud. So,
but hey, buddy. No, I'm not doing too great. Would you mind just getting some help for me? Thanks.
Yeah, you could just give him a little ring-a-ding-ding on the phone.
That'd be so great.
So, son's on the phone. He's like, my dad is badly injured and so is the woman. And he's like, his foot is severed and the other one's bleeding pretty bad. Fucking love this kid. And we now see what?
It's like your dad is about to be extinct. Like all of your friends, the dinosaurs.
Boop boop. So now, I don't know if I think he's hallucinating this.
Okay.
So we just see her face. looking at the dad, and the dad is looking back at her, and we see her just quietly saying what we heard her say before. You may think I'm a clingy type of woman, but I've been waiting for your call. I've never met someone so warm and comforting. It'll be hard to get over, but you'll find life is wonderful one day. That's why we all carry on with our lives. Cut to little Asami putting on point shoes in a dark room. The end. Yeah.
Wow.
Audition!
Do you want to count my points first or talk first? I have things to talk about.
I'll count your
I have
points.
feelings.
You process things. Hey, Sammies! So, as you've heard, we have a Patreon, and we have some amazing BoneCon happening over there.
That's bonus content.
BoneCon all the time. We are constantly updating our benefits, and we would love for you guys to come hang out with us over there. And we actually have some deals going on right now if you join soon.
Join for an annual membership by the end of 2020 and you'll get 2 months free.
So, Sammies, what are you waiting for? Come on. Come over to Patreon. We're all hanging out. Goodbye.
We're all gonna stay alive.
Really good birthday score, Burnsy.
Yay!
For Dead or Alive, you got 2 out of 6.
Well, sure, right.
But for your questions, you got 20.5 out of 24.
Oh, hell yes.
For a total of 22.5 out of 30, bitch.
Boop, motherfucking boop.
Yeah, you booped all over this China shop.
That's great.
Really good. Yeah. Okay, so tell me your thoughts.
Gosh, okay. I guess, okay. I mean, I don't see it as feminist or misogynistic. Do you?
I think...
I didn't see it with my eyeballs, but, like, I see it as, like, abuse. Like, she was clearly abused. I would think, is what it was telling us.
I saved the article. Basically, as soon as I saw that line, I was so fascinated by it that I was like, I'm just saving this for the postmortem. Like, I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
I want to get Kim's, like, take on it, and then we'll sort of, like, discuss in the postmortem. For me, here's what occurred to me. It's misogynistic in the sense that, like, women are supposed to be something, kind of all this stuff we talked about, where it's like, almost like marriage is being, like, arranged, where, like, the women have very little say in the men that they're marrying. And then the sort of, like, woman protagonist ends up being crazy because she was unrequited, kind of, like, possessive. Like, it just, women were the prize and the monster. So it was just, I could see the misogyny there. And then the feminist aspect, the idea that, like, it was that the character of Asami is like a rebellion against the very patriarchal societal structure of Japan.
Yeah. I see both of those things, but, like, on a human level, it seems like she was abused.
Exactly.
And that doesn't, like, excuse people's behavior. Like, that doesn't excuse you being a serial killer. But, like, it does, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it seems like she was abused. And now she's abusing others.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what I want to do in the postmortem is, like, look at what the director's message was.
Yeah, like what they were, and writers and stuff. Yeah. Like, there's definitely, like, misogyny and feministy things in there.
Yeah.
But
I the part that I don't know is, like, the misogynistic parts, is the director commenting on that?
Right. Yes.
Or is he giving us a slice of life of how it is in Japan? And that I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was, I mean, it's beautiful. Like, the film is gorgeous.
I want to watch it.
And then the other thing that I had a little bit more trouble researching, so I'll have to really dig in for the postmortem because it wasn't readily available to me, is, like, even the way that the plot is written on Wikipedia, feel free to chime in, Sammys, if you know. I found it very confusing where I was like, how is he seeing the outstretched finger hand man eating barf bowl?
Right. Yeah, that's why I was confused about like that, because I'm like, well, that's the part that explains that she was kind of what happened to her, but then like, how is that?
Why is he in the room? Is he imagining that? Like it so. Because then it clearly was like hallucinations on his part where he's like, it's a Sami blowing me. It's the maid blowing me. It's my son's girlfriend blowing me. It's my secretary. Like, so I was like, that is his personal experience. But it's happening in her apartment with outstretched finger hand man eating barf.
Right. So is that all in his head? Well,
but we know that she does do that because she then proceeds to remove his feet.
Right.
Like, her behavior does not suggest to me that we could put it past her to feed outstretched finger hand man barf out of a bowl while keeping him in a sack. You know what I mean? Like, that seems
Do we think that he was record executive guy?
Yeah, he was. So he'd been in that fucking bag for 18 months.
Fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Literally kill me. I don't want your barf. I
don't want your barf.
Let me die.
Yeah. Let me die in peace in my bag. In my burlap bag.
my burp smash. Just let me die in this burp smash.
Yeah.
Wow. Lots to talk about. I don't know. It's always hard to right after I hear it all. Like, I feel like I always, after I process for a little bit, like I have way more going on about it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to talk to you about it in our postmortem when we do it, because I think there's going to be a lot to talk about.
Ooh. So. Maybe I'll try to watch it before then, too.
Yeah, please, because I would, especially that one part, I would love, maybe you missed something, because I'm taking notes, so it's like, I don't know, I miss something. So happy birthday, Bernsey.
Thank you so much. Thanks for doing my choice.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited.
You're my favorite boop boop bowl in a china shop.
Oh, you too. That was... Soup's fucked up and so much fun.
I know. I guess anything else? We have a live show on the 12th, which we told you about. Come join our Patreon. We talk about all of the movies that we do, and we're going to be talking about this one. We have a Facebook group, Sammy Stay Alive Maybe, and we're on all of the social medias at KK Sam Podcast on Twitter and Instagram and all that shit. So,
This has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe.
So until next week,
stay alive.
Bye.
Ghosted me.
I'm done.